Hey guys, how are you? I'm probably going to do this YouTube from the weirdest location ever for me. I'm in a little church in a village called Little Bedwin, which is just outside Hungerford. It's lovely, it's so pretty. I thought I'd show you around before I sit down and then explain to you why I'm sheltering in a church in the countryside in England. It's just so gorgeous. Look at that old organ. It's cute, isn't it? It's cold, but it's cute. So, I have been out on my walk this morning. I knew the rain was due. I knew I have my husband's waterproof coat and I could wrap up. I've got some new gaiters which help your legs and feet to stay dry. I figured that I'd give it a go, but I didn't really anticipate how bad it was going to be. And I don't just mean the weather. The weather was totally against me. It still is, actually. It was actually treacherous on the canal side. I thought to myself, if I just kept going, but some of the canal paths are on a slope like this, and where it's been worn down and trodden, you've got very, very slippy mud. You try and climb the bank a little bit to get away from the slippy mud, and you end up slipping into the mud. So there was a few occasions where I really nearly ended up in the canal, and it kind of scared me a little bit because I figured, God, you stupid girl, you're on your own. This is just a little bit silly. You know, safety first, right? I have to be aware of what I'm doing and be sensible with it. So I have the motivation today to have walked 14 miles. I parked my car at Hungerford and I intended to walk the towpath on the canal all the way to a little place called Pewsey, and then I was going to jump on the train back to Hungerford and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm probably only 4 miles into my walk, and like I said, I've had to ditch it. The wind is howling. I think we've actually got a storm, a proper storm, like Storm Charlotte or something. I heard it on the radio this morning. I thought, oh, well, I'll just see how I go. And now I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't, because I feel quite proud of myself. I feel like I've really challenged myself today in the wet weather, the slippy mud, and yeah, just being out. I didn't really feel like coming out this morning, guys. As much as I'm motivated to walk now that I've had a bit of exercise, my stomach was killing me this morning with my endometriosis. I've still got my shingles. And yeah, there was a lot against me. So to actually get in the car and drive to Hungerford, I wasn't even sure if I was going to get out the car and start the walk because I felt so rough. But I kind of knew that once I started, I'd be all right. So yeah, it was kind of one of those weird things. I've just literally crossed a bridge or come under a bridge. I was hoping to get some shelter under this little bridge, and basically saw a church and thought, oh, I could go and sit in there, have my coffee, my flask of coffee, dry off a little bit, and then I'm going to try and get hold of a taxi. But guess what? No 3G signal, so I've just walked around the whole church. And in fact, as I crossed the bridge to come into this tiny little village, the little lady that obviously opens the church came running out because she hadn't opened the church up yet, bless her. So that was really nice, and she said, oh, go and shelter in there. And yeah, something I've not really done this to shelter before. I often come in churches because I love to look at the architecture. I love to read, you know, and obviously British English history and architecture goes back so many years. And it just blows my mind sometimes, so I don't know whether you'll be able to read that being up, will you? Like that date on there, who died 11th of September 1851. 1851, my goodness. But it's so beautiful having a look around these old churches. I'm just looking through obviously a churchy book of some of their raffles and stuff that they've obviously done to collect money to keep the church going, I guess. Yeah, it's beautiful. Let's read some of these inscriptions. Here lieth. So you've got the tomb on the floor. I'll read it to you. Here lieth interred the body of Stephen Hyde Gent, who died September the 3rd, 1672, aged 33, and also the body of his Anne of Anne Hyde, widow of the said Stephen Hyde, who deceased March the 7th, 1705. You kind of can't comprehend, can you, that, you know, I'm not a historian, but these kind of things do blow me away, guys. So this isn't WLS related at all. Sorry about that, but I figured maybe some people from the US might like to have a look around here. Our lovely old churches. I'm not quite sure how old the font is. Sometimes these fonts that the babies get baptised or christened in, it can be really, really old, and they survive an awful lot. Samuel William Farmers. This tablet commemorates the gift in the year 1921 by Samuel William. Yeah, so I just figured it would be a different YouTube today to actually do it from a church, not being religious at all. Sorry, not sorry. But what I do love is that the church is open to us anyway, to be able to come and shelter from the storm. Sounds really cliche, doesn't it? It sounds really old-fashioned and awful, but it's true. I'll tell you what also I love in these old churches are these really nice old floor tiles. I'd love those in my kitchen, actually. Very retro. But yeah, it's quite beautiful, isn't it? It's a different place to do my YouTube anyway, and it looks like the rain may have calmed down a little bit now. Let's have a look. I don't know whether you can see out into the churchyard. Nope, it's still absolutely tipping it down. So yeah, that was my kind of failed walk. I've done 4 miles, which is nothing for me. Maybe I'll get out and do another walk. I'm super looking forward to my weekend. Friday, well actually the beginning of the weekend's not so great. On Thursday night, so today's Wednesday, tomorrow night I have to fast from 5 o'clock, and then I'm going to have a blood test at 8:30 in the morning to do with the endocrinology, and then after that I'm going for my gynecology appointment. After that, Harry and I are off in Aggie. We're going to Crystal Palace, and we're meeting up with Claire and Dawn on Saturday afternoon sometime with Jack, Tony and Harry. So we're all really, really looking forward to that, getting our men together again, which is great because we all get on so lovely. And just to say, shout out for Claire, who's at home. She's had 2 nights at home now and is just the most amazing bariatric patient. She's really healing well and doing well, and I can't praise her enough, bless her heart. And I'm glad that we're there to support her. She's supported so many people throughout this journey, even though she hadn't had her surgery, and now it's her time actually for us too. I'm having my snack. I've got some chicken pieces and some beetroot. I'm actually quite enjoying this even, just being somewhere different. And, I intended to get out, which is great. And I've got out, I've had some fresh air, and I've definitely blown the cobwebs away. And I was right, I may have been in pain at the beginning of this morning, but I'm not now. So guys, a weird location, but quite beautiful. And I just thought I'd check in and say hi. Much love to you all. I hope you're really well, healthy and happy, and that Wednesday is kind to you all. Chat soon.